Good morning. It's morning for me. So, hello, welcome. So, anyway, before I begin, I do want to apologize. Please excuse my manners. My last video with the uninhibited, I did not thank my subscriber for the generous donation they made. So, thank you so much. And as well for this subscriber that reached out. And I don't know if they're subscribers, but that's what I'm calling you all. Thank you so much for your generous donations. Okay, so thank you for the uninhibited one that donated substantially and very graciously, as well as this one. So thank you. So here's this other dream. Okay, so here it goes. So this is a recurring dream. And then, so he says that his arms are restrained and he's with the woman he doesn't know. She pulls his pants down and then laughs and then slaps him a couple of times and then again laughs. And then different men come in at one time. I think that she brings them in. He's not sure. And then she compares them with their private parts. She compares the dreamer to the men that she's bringing in. She compares them with their private parts, okay? And then... and the other private parts, the other penises, are 5 times bigger than his. Okay, and then she brings in 5 different men, and and he says 5 is significant, and yes it is, and I'll explain it in a minute. And each time she laughs, after the comparison, then she measures him. She measures the dreamer's private parts, and and then measures it, and it's 5 inches. After which she again laughs and slaps him. At this point, he's crying, but she still laughs. Following that my arms are still bound. I don't know if I mentioned that. So his arms are restrained, okay? And then from there, he's suddenly walking in the desert with no end in sight. Okay, this is a beautiful dream. All right, of course not, they're nightmares, but you know what I mean. So this dream is particular and specific to my first introductory video that I talk about in terms of the desert when I was going through a divorce and a very heavy duty, very challenging relationship with my husband that I ultimately divorced. Okay, so I ultimately divorced my husband, and that's how I got into dream interpretation. I would have this recurring dream of me trekking through the desert with my children only, and then coming home. And then when I divorced, I stopped having the recurring dream. So that's really what triggered me to get into dream interpretation. So I have these little hairs up here. So I highly encourage my dreamer to go check out that video specifically, because I explain everything in detail there. Okay, so that's one. So he's restrained, so he doesn't feel that, and he's restrained from his arms, so he doesn't feel, or that's what he saw, okay? He's probably restrained as a whole, but his arms. So his arms being restrained means that he can't extend an arm, or he doesn't have any help, or he can't extend to be helped, okay? So that's one. The other 5, he said, 5 inches, 5 men, what else was there? There was another 5 that he mentioned. So he sees like 5 3 times, okay? That's very interesting. Let me see. I think it's 3 times. I think there's a measurement of the groin and the private parts. I think it's 5 men, and then I think that then she measures him. Okay, so she's measuring him. So going back to 5. So 5 means change. Okay, so 5 and 5 in numerology means that there's a change. So there's going to be a change in this relationship. So he is with, I asked if he was married. He is not married, but he's in a committed relationship, which is the same deal. Okay, sort of, right? For me. So he is in a committed relationship, and he feels that whoever he's with, his wife, his partner, his companion, is measuring him against other men in terms of sexuality, and of course in terms of size. But most importantly, I think it's in general, like he feels that he is completely always being compared to other men, and that he can't sort of live up to it because she's always laughing. Okay, so she is mocking him, and he feels like she is mocking him and making fun of him and making fun of his size and making fun of what he can give her, because he's being compared to men and to their private parts. Sorry, I sort of got, whatever. So anyway, so that's one thing. So he feels that she is mocking him and making fun of him for what he can produce sexually, or how, what his size is, or against other men in general. The other thing about the arms is that he's constrained, so he cannot ask for help, and he feels helpless. Okay. So that's one thing. The other thing about measurement is that he is setting, just like my other dream about measuring, that he was measuring, he is setting unrealistic goals or realities, in terms of his private parts. It could also mean that she has unrealistic goals of him. Okay. So he feels constrained. He feels that she's mocking him, and he feels that he's in a constant comparison with other men that she's bringing in. So I'm thinking that she says things that reference other men that make him feel inferior, whether it's having to do sexually and with his private parts or not. Okay, I think in general. The other thing is that 5 is a change. So this relationship is about to change. All right. There was one more thing. So she laughs, so she's mocking him, and then she also slaps him. Okay. So a slap is like, I was going to look this up. A slap is like a slap in your face, right? He doesn't mention that it's in the face, but it's like a lack of respect. It's like dueling, right? When they used to duel, they used to give you a slap with their white glove, right? With their glove, and that would mean that they were what do you call it when they challenge you to duel, right? So at the moment that she's slapping him, he feels that she's completely disrespecting him, and it's a slap in the face with him. So she's bringing in possibly men, or or is commenting, or there is a possibility that she might have someone else. I don't know. That's sort of coming along. Okay. If it doesn't resonate, don't put it in, but that sort of came in. And that she's comparing him. So it's a slap in the face for him. And it's also a challenge that she's challenging him to sort of like engage or compete against these men. Okay. So that's very, very important. The desert is that he just feels like he's in the desert, like there's a drought, like it's never ending. He says here, with no end. So he is in a relationship that is dry, desert, that there's no hope, that there's no end to it. And there's going to be a change. Okay. I will tell you this. Okay. And I usually don't give my opinion with these things, but I think it's pertinent to give the opinion. I am divorced, okay? And I've done like a little I've done some research that, of course, is not formal research, right? I've done some informal research. So all my friends and everyone I've talked to, and I've talked to a lot of people, because remember that I'm a teacher and I have, an extensive community. Everyone that has gotten divorced, they stay 10 years longer than they should. Okay. And even if you're not married, you're in a committed relationship. So it sort of works the same way. Okay. For me, I stayed in my marriage 16 years. At year 6, I knew I should have gotten divorced, but I stayed another 10 years because I guess I wasn't ready. I always thought, you get into these patterns and these cycles where you think they're going to get better, and in the end, they're not going to get better. And so I'm just referencing this because I used to have a recurring dream with the desert, and it was that I was going home and I was with my children, and that's when I was going through a really challenging time with my husband and my relationship. And in the end, I made it home, right? So home is within, but I also went back home, like with my roots. And so when I divorced, I finally I stopped having the recurring dream. So the desert and the trek that I was in that recurring dream was exactly what my relationship was like. It was a very hard relationship. It was like I was trekking through the desert. It was dry. It was desolate. I think that's the way you say it. And it was just very, very barren. Okay, so that's the symbolism of a relationship, and it has to do with, that's the symbolism of the dream, and it has to do with your relationship, and it has to do with your committed partnership that you're with right now, that you feel you're not good enough, that she's putting up unrealistic expectations for you, that she's measuring you against other men, or you are measuring up against other men, and you feel that you are not good enough, but you also feel like you are restrained, like you can't do anything, like you're helpless and powerless, and you're not. And you also feel like she's challenging you to this competition type, and you also feel that you are completely being disrespected, like it's in your face, like she slaps you, and so it's like a slap to you, it's like a slap in your face for, it's a slap in the face for everything that she's done. Okay, so I hope this helps. Let me know. Namaste, love and light. Ciao.